Hello, this is the introduction for the Centripetal Force Lab. What you'll be doing is you'll be taking the kit. The kit includes a glass tube with tape around it for your hand comfort. The glass has been rounded at both ends so as to not be sharp. There is a string running through the tube to a stopper tied on appropriately. Make sure that you don't modify that knot without someone who knows what they're doing it. Otherwise there will be stoppers flying around the room. I've seen it happen. Then you have a knot on the other end which will hook onto a hanging weight. Now a couple things about this. You're going to want to do this lab so that you have a certain radius involved with your spinning. We're going to be spinning this thing above our heads. So I'm going to put my stopper down there at the end of the thing, the meter stick, and I have my thing set up here, my apparatus. Set that there for just a second. I'm going to stretch this out. So once you've got this thing stretched out, you're going to want to note what exactly your radius is. Now I would recommend a nice convenient radius, such as I have set up right now. Here you'll see from the beginning to half a meter, or you could go all the way to a whole meter if the rope on your kit allows. Notice we have a bin full of kits, and each kit comes in a bag with a specific and unique and different number. That's because each one of those is very individual. There's different strings with different lengths, with different stoppers, and that'll all throw off your results if you grab the wrong one. So the first thing you might want to do is mark down which kit you get. It's highly important. For my demonstration, I'm not going to go with half a meter. I'm going to go all the way out to a meter with this. And what I've done is, you can see here, I've marked the string at half a meter in this case, and there's another mark here where that'll be a meter long at that point. And what you're going to do is you're going to take hanging weights. And it's very important how heavy a weight you use here for the hanging masses. If you use too light of a mass, it will spin too slow and you'll have a hard time controlling it. If you do too heavy of a mass, you'll spin too fast and you won't be able to count it. And also, because you are untrained, no offense there, but you're untrained at it, it'll be difficult for you. I recommend starting with a nice 200. Go up from 200, maybe go down from 200 to manageable weights. I recommend weights probably no less than 100. Maybe you can go down to 50 grams if you're very talented. And I recommend not going above 500 grams for the weights, the hanging masses. I would say in this lab, you're going to want to vary the hanging mass to about 5 different hanging masses is probably what you're going to want to have. It's about 5 different hanging masses. So you can see my illustration on the board here. What you're going to do, and I'll do it also, what you're going to do is you're going to have a hanging mass here. That red spot I told you about right there is an indicator. Your glass tube with the stopper, and you're going to spin it around over your head. So let's see this in action. This is widely considered to be the most dangerous lab we're going to do in my class all year because you can whack yourself pretty good. So I'm going to hold my hanging mass. Let me step back another step. I'm going to hold my hanging mass in my hand, and I'm going to spin it around like I'm trying to throw a lasso, like you're playing the Old West when you're a kid. And I got the light right in my eyes, but I think I can do this here. So as I spin it, right there's a red spot that I showed you earlier. And I'm keeping it in one spot. The big idea we'd like to have is equilibrium. So while I spin, I would have a partner who's timing the stopper going around. And it's going to be very difficult to time one revolution. So instead of timing one revolution, you're probably going to want to count 30 revolutions and then divide by 30 with that time, so that you're averaging out mistakes with starting and stopping the timing, but it'll be a lot easier to do about 30 revolutions around. And the other big thing you want to do here is, number one, look at your surroundings so you're not hitting people. If you are the spinner, your responsibility is to spin it well. It is the responsibility of pedestrians to watch where they're going. But still, it goes into our safety. So you want to spin it well, you want to spin not around things, and you also want to keep this thing spinning on a level horizontal playing field. If you've got it drooping, the forces get thrown out of whack. They're not what we want. So you can see right now, I've been keeping it going at a nice constant rate. It's no problem for me because I'm trained, I've done it before. So if I walk over straight forward here and I grab another 200 grams, grab another 200 grams. That happens sometimes. So I'm just going to hook this back up. And I want you to make a comparison in the velocity of my stopper once I get this hooked up. So I'm going to reset, spin around. Where's that? There it is. There's a flag. I'm at a meter again. And now I have to spin it faster. If I slow down, notice that it's falling. If I speed up, it goes up. And that's what you're going to be working with when you're doing this lab. You're going to have to balance that whole thing out, and it's going to take practice. It's not going to be easy for you. Your arms are going to get tired. And this is what happens. This is what you're going to be doing. So things that you're going to measure. Things that you're going to measure in this lab. Things you're going to measure. Obviously, you're going to have your stopwatch. You're going to be timing it. So you're going to need time. You're going to need to know the radius you're working with. You're going to need to know the mass, the stopper that you're dealing with, and you're going to have to know the hanging mass. Those are the raw pieces of data that you must record. That's the timer time, the radius, the stopper mass, and the hanging mass. Those are the things you have to do the lab. This lab is all about centripetal force. So things you're going to do in pre-lab are going to include safety, of course, and introduction to what is centripetal force. You're going to have to talk about that whole thing with the force that makes things go towards the middle. In addition to that, you're going to have to talk about the influence of the tangential velocity on that force, the influence of changing the radius on that force. Make a prediction by changing your hanging weight, because we're going to try to keep our radius the same in every trial. So by changing the hanging weight, what's going to happen to the forces going on up here? So by your independent variable, what am I changing down here? And I'm going to measure a change up here. In terms of safety, you really have to watch out for others around you, and you have to watch out for yourself as you walk around the room. Not only do you have to worry about hitting yourself, you have to worry about weights falling down, and you have to worry about string. I've told the story in class before how a kid tried to rip the string I was using here today, and the string didn't rip, his finger did. So we really need to be careful with all those things. So you're going to have to make a procedure. You're going to have to tell what to calculate with what information, a background theory, an introduction. Make sure that you make a solid prediction. And don't mess up the kits. Please do not change a kit without the teacher's permission. If the string just breaks in the middle of the lab, that happens sometimes, and the teacher will have to fix that. But don't change the kits. Other classes are depending on that thing to be consistent to the last time they touched it.